More parents coming forward claiming their children were sexually assaulted by a former Avon daycare worker.
And a lawyer for some of the families believes there are far more victims to come. Your reporter Owen Kingsley spent the day in court. He's here now breaking down new charges that came to light. Owen.
Well, good evening, guys. It was the first time for 29-year-old Giancarlos Barrios Otero, who stood before a judge. He's now charged with sexually assaulting 5 young boys between the ages of 3 and 5 in the alleged assault happened at BrightPath daycare in Avon. A camera inside the daycare caught some of the alleged assaults, all happening during the boys' nap time. Court documents say that video showed Barrios Otero laying next to a child under a blanket for almost 50 minutes. We're not reporting some of the other more graphic details that were included. About 8 parents and family members of victims watched Barrios Otero enter the courtroom this morning. We weren't allowed to film it, but he avoided eye contact with all of them. Attorneys representing the alleged victims say more families of victims reached out to them yesterday, though it's unclear if more charges will be filed. It's unclear how long attorneys and investigators suspect this alleged abuse was going on for, but are urging anyone whose child attended BrightPath in Avon over the past 6 years to come forward. That location is set to close next month.
We have a strong belief that there are a significant number of additional victims who have not had charges brought on their behalf. So for some families, it's the very beginnings of the healing process. It's a good thing that it's closing down because I think that what was broken there was beyond repair.
The law firm says BrightPath originally sent them a letter in response when they first reached out, but for several weeks, they've been silent and non-responsive. BrightPath says they are working with law enforcement. Barrios Otero is due back in court on these new charges on June 23rd. Your reporter, Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.